Hey, what's up? This is Claire from Penn Entertainment, and we're talking about The Mandalorian. So, The Mandalorian Episode 2, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it, and I think what's cool is that the writers have been very, very deliberate about what information they share every episode. Last episode, the biggest thing that dropped, obviously, was who the Mandalorian is hunting. So who's the Mandalorian hunting? Baby Yoda! We've got the cutest creature in the world, looks like a baby fennec, obviously more powerful than any of us could ever realize, but who's this Baby Yoda? What are they capable of? What's the Mandalorian going to do with it? Those are the burning questions from the last episode, some of which are answered in this one. For example, what is Baby Yoda capable of? Well, we see that in the very dramatic scene towards the end of the episode where the Mandalorian is facing off against the Mudhorn and he's getting his butt kicked. He's been tossed around, he's been crushed by the Mudhorn's tusk, and it's just he's totally getting his butt kicked, and it's kind of interesting to see, and I think very symbolic too, because the plot of the episode leading up to this fight is that the Mandalorian, while obviously very capable at fighting, can hold his own, every time he loses his ship to the Jawa or his armor gets crushed by the Mudhorn, every time when he's kind of stripped down, who is he really? What kind of a fighter is he really? And you see him in a very dramatic scene facing off against this giant creature. When all of that fancy stuff goes away, who is he really? So he's got his little shiv, his knife. It's a very last stand kind of scene until Baby Yoda kind of just his little hand, the little tiny hand, creeps out of the little crib stroller thing and immobilizes the Mudhorn. And it's obviously a huge effort because he basically holds off the Mudhorn. Baby Yoda holds off the Mudhorn using what we assume is the Force until it kind of collapses and needs a nap. But by then, the Mandalorian's kind of gotten his feet under him again, manages to take it down. But that's kind of a huge deal, showing just how much this tiny creature is yay big can do, just how force sensitive and force capable Baby Yoda is. That's a huge deal and probably a huge reason why the Empire is trying to. And what's even more interesting is that the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, has no idea what this force is, has no understanding of what happened. Neither does his companion and guide, Quill, who's voiced by Nick Nolte. Neither does he have any idea what this baby just did, which makes sense. They're in the Outer Rim, and even if there's some Empire influence there, it's not, they're not necessarily caught up. They're not in the direct crosshairs of the battle between the rebels and the Empire. But this would also mean that the Mandalorian has been removed from Mandalore and seeing, any major conflict there for quite some time. Saw the Force happening, has no idea what this is. So I'm sure they will learn very quickly how big of a deal, Baby Yoda actually is. And something that I loved from the episode was Baby Yoda's silent judgment. You see them just kind of staring out of the crib and being like, as for what is the Mandalorian going to do with Baby Yoda? We've just seen this tiny creature save Din Djarin's life. But is that is that enough to change his loyalty? Or will Din Djarin, I mean, we assume throughout the course of this episode, he's keeping Baby Yoda alive, not necessarily because he wants to, because he's flipped and he's definitely he's gonna save Baby Yoda now, but because the reward is so much higher, bringing in a live Baby Yoda. So we don't quite know. We don't quite know whether or not that dynamic has shifted yet, but for sure you can see through the way that Din Djarin interacts with Baby Yoda. I think I saw a little bit of like a crib being rocked. The way he's kind of started to check up on this tiny creature. I don't know. It may not be enough yet for Din Djarin to reject the reward of Beskar, which would help his fellow Mandalorians, but it could be a shift. I think it paints Din Djarin as a very vulnerable character who's in flux, who's ready to see a lot of growth and development, and I really like that. I really like the idea of him being a character that's not fully formed, and I talked about this last time, right? He doesn't have a sigil yet, he doesn't have any colors for his armor, all of those things are undecided. He's a very undecided character. His choices with Baby Yoda, I think, and then moving forward with whether or not he turns in his bounty for the reward, all of those choices will be really, really defining for him as a character, and we get to see all of that, which is super cool. So I think that's it. It was a solid episode. I can't wait to see what comes next. We'll have to fill in the rest of my time watching everything else on Disney Plus, which there's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus actually. So we'll see next week, and thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, or comments, give us a shout and let us know. Until next time, this has been Claire with Penn Entertainment, and thanks again.
Follow our YouTube channel to watch our featured videos and original shows. See you there.